Thawne, I need to know we're not making this worse. Tell me you know what you're doing.
I am the only speedster who knows what he's doing!
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 14 video. Like father, like daughter, 52 time loops, so we got to break this down. There was also a big teaser for why Crisis on Infinite Earths is happening so much sooner than in that original Future newspaper, so I'll explain all the foreshadowing scenes. There's a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment from the episode on the video. Obviously, careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. So top 10 WTF and Easter eggs. Here we go. Number 10, they've finished the metahuman cure, but it's going to take an hour cooking in the pan-dimensional microwave that is the Speed Force because they need all those tachyons. So that explains why Barry is out of commission for the entire episode. This is actually one of their better reasons for sidelining Barry, because there's like certain budgetary reasons why they can only have so much speedster stuff happening on screen at once. Like, it's crazy expensive to have Barry and Nora running around at the same time, and if you have Killer Frost stuff going on, and they have to do special effects for Cicada whenever he throws his dagger. So if you ever wondered why there's a character that's really powerful or someone with really cool special effects isn't around for an episode, that's usually why. It's usually because they're saving money, because next week's episode is going to be Gorilla Grodd versus King Shark. It is probably going to be one of the most expensive episodes that they do all season long because they have to mocap both of those actors when they're performing them on screen. There were a lot of references to earlier seasons as well, like when Cisco says 29 days, usually it takes us way longer to take down a big bad than that. That's just a reference to previous seasons, like when they were fighting Zoom, or Reverse Flash in the first season, or Savitar in the third season, how it usually takes them till the last couple of episodes before they're able to defeat a big bad. Number 9 was all of Cisco's cringy dates. They try to use it for comedy. I was kind of glad that they brushed past this pretty quickly because they're trying to make this Camilla character a bigger thing, and it's possible that Cisco is going to leave the show at the end of the season and Camilla is going to have something to do with that storyline. The really big Easter egg you probably spotted was for season 3 during the Savitar storyline. During the first date, when he goes in trying to be the businessman, he basically tells her he's Cisco of Ramon Industries. Ramon Industries was the name of Star Labs during Flashpoint, where he basically did everything that he tells her during this date. Like, wait a minute, you profit off of other people's inventions? Hey, somebody has to. Number 8, the first time loop though. This time he captures Iris in her office and throws the dagger, but it gets Killer Frost killing her. So remember, the Daniel Pennebaker was directing the episode, so that's why you didn't see a whole lot of Killer Frost after this first time loop. And it was always mostly the same version of Caitlin's scene in that main room when she would come back to the beginning of the timeline. That was just easier for Daniel Pennebaker to film those scenes because most of the time she was behind the camera telling the other actors what to do. Number 7 though, she comes back for the next time loop. Sherlock starts to notice what's going on. This time it's Ralph that winds up dying, but there's a bottle of Gin Gold soda. They haven't had an Easter egg for that in a while. They did it a lot during season 4 when they first introduced the character because it was the soda in the Silver Age Flash comics that gave him his powers. So anytime you see him sitting in his office drinking something, it usually winds up being the Gin Gold soda just to pay reference to that. Number 6, time loop number 3, this time it's Sherlock that gets captured and Cisco starts to vibe things during his dates noticing, so he comes in and he's the one that gets it in the back. Nora goes back in number 5, time loop number 4. This time she really flips out, gets them all to stay in the lounge, but it's Cecile that dies. She actually dies before she gets there. She runs up and the dagger's already in Cecile's back. But here's where things start to get really crazy. Number 4. Time loop number 52. So there was this big montage after Cecile died when she ran back. That's meant to be a visual representation of all those other times that she traveled back, because including that first time loop, she only runs back 4 times. So I think they just wanted to visually compress that. So if you were confused about what all those images were, that's how they got to that 52, or technically 53 number. But I love the look on their faces when she walks in. You're changing the timeline, aren't you? Because every time she's reset the timeline, Cisco's vibes have gotten bigger and bigger, so you just have to assume that off screen before she walked in, Cisco was like, dude, everybody, I've been having deja vu crazy. Something is going on. The really cool thing about the pep talk she gets from Cisco is that it also makes her wonder about what's going on with Reverse Flash a little bit more, making him seem a little more suspicious, because he's been all like, trust me, Nora, I'm the only one that can help you with this timeline problem. he suspiciously omitted the fact that he killed Barry Allen's mother, Nora's grandmother. She got really pissed when she found out about that. So if she seemed really pissed off with Reverse Flash at the end of the episode, that was part of the reason why, but mostly because of that coffee cup explainer. But number 3, Team Flash's actual plan to use all their abilities together once they're in that 53rd time loop. So it's actually a pretty cool visual effect. They use Cisco's vibes in combination with Killer Frost's Frost ability and Nora's ability to rewind time to get everybody to safety and get Cicada into the right path of the dagger so that it will hit him instead of one of them. And it's totally successful. He flies away. Remember, he can only fly with the dagger, but the dagger is stuck in his chest. So that's why it looks like he's flying of his own accord. And he's going to be on ice during next week's episode. Like they say that there's no traces of dark matter. That just means that he got wounded so badly that he's gone to ground, because the next episode is going to be all about Grodd versus King Shark, which means it's going to be crazy expensive, so they're going to focus mostly on those characters for the episode. The funny thing about their solution, though, is that it's almost like, embracing everyone's abilities to their fullest extent. Be yourself, because that's kind of what Cisco's speech was about. But as Barry tells her later, her ability to rewind time is probably one of the most dangerous abilities that anyone on the team has. So number 2, Barry's Jay Garrick coffee cup timeline speech. You can try and reset things as much as you want, but you'll never completely fix it, and you'll only crack the coffee cup more.
Now you can try and reset the timeline, try and fix it, but no matter how hard you try, it's never gonna be exactly how it was.
Whenever you go back in time, it breaks. Now,
For real,
you can reset the timeline. You can try to fix it. But no matter how hard you try, it's never going to be exactly how it was.
So remember how Barry tried to change the timeline a couple times and how bad it went with Savitar? Nora just did it 52 times. So Barry is not joking when he's talking about there being consequences to this. Something is fundamentally going to change because of how Nora was trying to mess with the timeline. And they sort of paid that forward in the Reverse Flash scene as well, which is why I think that that's a reference to why Crisis on Infinite Earths is happening this fall during 2019 instead of during 2024, because of all the crazy coffee cup timeline edits that she and Reverse Flash are trying to make. More to the Savitar of it all, I got a lot of questions about why Nora didn't create time remnants when she went back in time whenever she uses her ability, and the only explanation that I could offer is that her ability doesn't work exactly like traditional time travel. Like the way she rewinds time is just a little bit different from the way that Barry would go back in time using the Speed Force. You actually also have to kind of create a time remnant on purpose. Like you have to go find one from a previous timeline, grab them, and pull them either forward or backward or wherever it is that you want to take them and get their help. So that's why you haven't suddenly seen a Savitar version of Nora show up on the TV show. Although I'm sure there'll be some joke about that eventually when Crisis goes crazy and blows up in everyone's faces. Like, look at what you've done to the timeline. Well, you are Barry Allen's daughter, and he definitely likes to screw the timeline, so no surprise that you would also do the same thing. In number 1, of course, Reverse Flash explaining his plan literally. Nora goes to him, "You're sure we're not making things worse?" Just remembering the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff that's coming down the road. Of course they're making things worse. But Reverse Flash gets pissed. 1, because remember, there's a ticking clock on his life. He's probably going to be executed by the prison when that clock runs out. And 2, also his hubris. Like, I am the smartest person. Of course I should be able to figure out how to mess with the timeline without all these consequences happening. But it's usually his hubris that gets him into trouble. Like, yes, he is smarter than everyone else, but it's all about his overconfidence. So just a reminder about what he says. He says, 1, they're going to defeat Cicada, then 2, destroy his dagger. Notice that he specifically mentions Cicada's dagger, which is why I think they're going to try and pay off some big comic book Easter eggs for Reverse Flash with the dagger later this season, and then say Barry Allen. Of course, they're trying to say Barry Allen, but that's like the last thing on Reverse Flash's list. The other really cool thing too is that Sherlock scene at the end where you see him use the notes that Nora wrote down. Like, she decoded some of the symbols on that dry erase board. Sherlock used those clues to completely decode her entire time journal. So what'll probably happen is maybe not in the next episode, but the episode after that, the computer will finish completely decoding everything, completely revealing Reverse Flash and Nora's plan to him, then he'll confront the rest of the team with it. The really important reminder, though, that Flash episode 15, the Grodd versus King Shark episode, isn't going to happen for 3 weeks. There'll be a 3-week break, so I'll remind everyone when I post my trailer video in the morning. I'll also name a giveaway winner during that. Click here for my brand new Game of Thrones Season 8 deleted scene video, and click here for my brand new Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.